All right, man. All right. You guys. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back. Let me get this right. Let me get this right, man. All right, man. Here we go. You guys, welcome back to another episode of the Winners Diet Show. I'm your host, Mac Solomon, aka Project Mac. Happy Friday. Made it to another weekend. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Shout out to everybody in the chat coming in, reporting live from sunny California. You dig what I'm saying? Anyway, man, we here. We here, man. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting on all our socials, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the good stuff. We appreciate you guys. Um, What else, man? Any other announcements? Nothing really. Nah, man. Nothing. No big announcements. Same old. We're gonna continue to give you guys this game, this work. You know what I mean? And just get you guys better, man. Get you guys to the best version of yourself. Um, and yeah, man, it's Super Bowl weekend. I don't know if you guys are even watching the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl, excuse me, the Super Bowl this year has really no excitement. There's no buzz around it. It being in San Francisco, or really Santa Clara. Um, but there's really no hype around it this year. It's kind of dead to me. Plus, I'm not really a big fan of the halftime show at all. So there's that. Um, so I mean, I'll watch it. If I'm not doing much, I probably will tune into it for a second. But am I gonna sit there and watch the whole game? Probably not. you know. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out. I got my money on Seattle. I'm not betting, but if I had to bet, it would be Seattle. Um, I just think they have a better offense, better defense. Um, I do think both quarterbacks. I think Drake May is a better quarterback, um, from what it looks like, but I just think Seattle overall has a better team. They have better coaching, so I definitely put my money on Seattle this year. Taking it all. I know it's kind of bittersweet because I am a Niner fan, so seeing them win on our turf is not going to be fun. But I got to put my pride aside and say I'm gonna go with Seattle. I'm gonna go with Seattle on this one, man. I think Seattle's gonna win. I'm gonna say 24-10 Seattle on Sunday. What do y'all think? I got Seattle on Sunday 24-10. That's my predictions. I got them by 2 touchdowns. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I just think they have a better team. This game is definitely going to come down to defense. I think so, but I think Seattle has better receivers. So we'll see what happens, man. Like I said, I got my money on Seattle, so we'll see what happens. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments. All right. Anyway, man, we got a good show lined up for you guys today. Shout out to everybody that's in here, tuning in, tapping in already. If you haven't, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got our first 2 segments before we get into today's show. The first segment is the Fit Report, reporting on live fitness news, fitness things happening in the fitness industry. Our second segment is What the Fitness, reporting on viral, trendy fitness videos, giving my takes on that, winners diet focused videos. And then the main event, the main topic of the day, man, we're talking about why Looksmaxxing creates fragile men. And I'll be breaking that down towards the end of the show. So make sure you guys stick around for that. So overall, man, it should be a great show today. Again, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. If you guys have not already, make sure you guys tap in with my free 7-day fat loss guide. If you guys are looking to build muscle, lose body fat. If you're stuck, if you don't know where to start, make sure you guys tap in with my free 7-day fat loss guide. We got that for you on winnersdietclub.com. It's a free guide. And yeah, it's very helpful. So anyway, man, let's get straight to it. If you guys don't have any fitness questions, please, um, again, before we get into it, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Yes, indeed. Comment down below any fitness questions you have. I will answer them throughout the entirety of the show. So do your best to ask away, man. That's why I'm here. Excuse me. Ask away. All right. All right, let's get into it, man. We got the first article here. Where we at with it? Um, okay, here we go. So Santorini bans tourists over 220 pounds from riding donkeys to protect the animals from injury and cruelty. Santorini draws the line for the sake of the animals. On Santorini, tourists who weigh more than 220 pounds are not allowed to ride donkeys. The rule was introduced to protect the animals from excessive strain, injuries, and cruelty after years of criticism from animal welfare groups. The iconic donkey rides, often used to carry visitors up the steep paths from the harbor, had raised serious concerns with reports of overworked animals, heat stress, and physical harm. This isn't about shaming tourists, it's about protecting the animals' well being. By enforcing a weight limit, authorities aim to ensure the donkeys aren't overworked or put at risk. Oh my goodness. Look at the comments. What if you are 225? Good, poor animals. They need to not let anyone ride them no matter what weight. Okay, relax, relax. Yeah, man. I totally agree with this. Um, certain things need to have a weight limits, man. I'm just being honest here. There are certain things that just need to have weight limits. You know, you cannot ride on animals if you have a certain amount of weight, you know. And it just comes back down to the accountability thing, right? You look at things like Southwest Airlines, how they had implemented that new rule where you can't ride on the airline, or you need to buy two seats if you are quote unquote plus size, right? Um, and I think I've seen other rules where if you're a certain weight, you know, there's special conditions. I know there was that one incident with that one woman who couldn't ride in the lift. She called a lift, but she was morbidly obese, and the lift driver refused to give her a ride because, you know, she was just super heavy, and she sued. I'm pretty sure they settled on a number. Um, but it just comes down, man, to discipline and, you know, self control. Like, there's no reason for someone to be that big. Like, unless you're a sumo wrestler, unless you're a linebacker, or, you know, on the offensive line, or running back, you know, there's really no reason to be 220 pounds. You know, depending on what type of height you are. Um, but I'm just, for the average person, right? The average person, there's really no need to be 200 plus pounds unless you're like in great physical shape, um, or you're an athlete, right? But there's really no need to be that big, man. As a regular person, as an everyday, you know, average Joe, there's really no reason to have a substantial weight, because now you limit yourself to opportunities that could have been awarded to you if you weren't that weight. So, you know, this is the problem that we have here, man. People think there isn't going to be repercussions for their actions, and you will see, man. You will see that a lot of the reasons that you have bad things happen to you, or there's uh the reasons why you feel like people are against you, a lot of times that comes down to your weight, right? That a lot of times Many times that comes down to how much you weigh, how you present yourself, how you look. Um, and these are simple things that you can change. It just requires effort. But most people don't want to put in effort, right? They just feel like they can just do whatever they want and get away with it, you know? And that's the problem that we have here, man. Like we got to establish consequences for actions. We've let that we've let that concept just go away. I would say the last 10 years. The last 10 to 15 years, there really hasn't been consequences for a lot of people's actions. And a lot of that comes from agenda pushing, you know, big pharma, you know, and you know, it's just gotten people delusional to what reality is supposed to be like. And you know, it is what it is, man. Yeah, Green Buck, I see you, man. I'm in the middle of spitting right now. I see you. Hello. You know, but yeah, man, it's we got to bring back shame, you know, to a certain degree. We got to bring back consequences to your actions. You can't just do whatever you want and expect people to roll out the red carpet for you. That's not how life works, you know? Um that's just how life is, man. We all have choices, and if you fuck it up, then that's on you. We're not going to double back and make you feel comfortable because you fucked up or because you couldn't have self-control, you know, to stop over consuming calories. We're not going to make exceptions for you. This is just what it is, you know. So yeah, man. Shout out to Greece, excuse me. Shout out to Greece. All right. Yes, indeed, man. Let's get to the next article. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. What's going on, Greenbug? Goodbye. All right. Spamming like a motherfucker, but you know, at least you're interacting. We appreciate it. All right. We got the next article here. All right, we got the Super Bowl Sunday coming up on Sunday. And you guys know what happens on Super Bowl Sunday. You know, a lot of food, a lot of drinks, a lot of, you know, friends coming over. And this article here says Americans eat about 1.42 billion chicken wings on Super Bowl Sunday alone. According to the National Chicken Council, I didn't even know that was even a thing. But anyway, Americans eat roughly 1.42 billion chicken wings on Super Bowl Sunday every single year. That's enough wings to give every single person in the U.S. more than 4 wings each, including people who aren't that hungry but always black out by halftime. It's the one day a year where napkins are optional, sauces are mixed with zero shame, and ordering a triple digit wing count feels not just normal, but patriotic. The question at hand, though, is who has the best wings? Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, the local joint. No matter what your go to wing spot will always be judged by the guys. It's the one day out of the year you can't afford to get some dog shit chicken wings, or else you're going to have your whole life choices brought into question. But one thing for sure, there's nothing like cracking a cold one, finding that spot on the couch, and chowing down on some chicken wings with the boys. The Monday after the Super Bowl needs to be a national holiday already. Yeah. Um, First things first, man. One thing about Americans, and I'll say this 1 second. Let me get my chapstick together. Sorry, y'all. Let me get this going. But one thing about Americans, man, um, we are consistent when we want to be. And what I mean by that is when we want to be consistent with eating garbage, national holidays, Super Bowl Sunday, you know, NBA finals, like we will find ways to be consistent every single time with that. Every single year, we know that we're going to be eating chips and dips and chicken wings, you know, beers all day. We're going to be just eating sliders, like we can be consistent with that. But when it comes to just eating clean for not even a whole week, for just 3 days, we can't do it. We can't do it. But we can be consistent every single big holiday. We can be consistent with, the type of food that we eat on those holidays, and binge eating those foods on those holidays. We can be consistent with that, but we can't be consistent with eating clean for 3 days out the week. It's too hard. It's difficult. I don't have time. You know what I mean? So like that's one thing that Americans that we can be consistent with. We can be consistent with doing the worst possible shit ever when it comes to our health. You know, it's kind of crazy if you think about it, man. But it's the reality of where we are, man. You know, people choose, like I always say, people are selectively healthy. We pick and choose what's healthy. We pick and choose when to be consistent. We pick and choose uh when we want to do stuff. And that's just the reality, man. Like I said, we all have consistency. We all have consistency to do whatever it is that we want to do. Some choose it to be positive, some choose to be negative. You know, we can be consistent with going out to the bar every single weekend. We can be consistent with eating like shit every single day, every single night. But can we be consistent with going to the gym at least 2 days a week? Can we be consistent with eating fruits and vegetables at least 3 days out the week? Can't do it because we pick and choose when we want to be consistent. And therein lies the problem, you know. But it is what it is, man. You can't really help it. Um, People are gonna live their life. It is what it is. Uh, you know, you just got to focus on the people that are gonna be there for the long haul, in a positive manner, and contributing to their health in a positive way. You know, but when it comes to wings, man, I think they said Wingstop or Buffalo Wild Wings. Those wings are terrible, by the way. Those are the worst wings you can get. The best wings, either two ways to get the best wings. One, you get wings from a pizza place. Those are going to be like hidden gems. Depending on the pizza spot, you can get the best wings from a pizza joint. And then two, you make your own wings. You grill them on the grill. You can air fry them, you know. But Wingstop and Buffalo Wild Wings, those days are over with, man. Wingstop had its run. Wingstop had a good run in the early 2010s. Um, that was when it was at its peak. I would say around like 2012, 2013 ish. That was when Wingstop was at its peak. That was when it was at its best, in my opinion. Buffalo Wild Wings had its run as well. Um, Now it's just those wing spots are garbage. I'll be honest with you, man. Those wing stops are absolutely horrendous. Like I said, you can find way better wings at a pizza shop, or just make your own. You know, it's cheaper. It's gonna taste fresher. The only thing that Wingstop really, nah, I can't say it now. Their fries were the best, I think. But even the fries fell off, right? The fries had a good run as well. I think Wingstop had the best fries I've ever had at one point, but even that fell off, man. So it's a damn shame, man. It's a damn shame. Some of the best wings I had were at Wingstop at one point, but what can you do? Everything can't last forever. At some point there's got to be a change happening, and it is what it is, man. All right, let's move on to the next article here, or message. We got a message here. Um, Here we go. Here we go. So this one says the older you get, the more your body shows off your bad habits. By the time you turn 30, you either look 25 or 40. When you're young, your body hides your mistakes. Bad sleep, you recover. Junk food, you bounce back. No training, you still look fine. But after 30, the body stops lying for you. Your face shows stress. Your body posture shows your confidence. Your energy shows your discipline. By 30, you either look like a man who took care of himself or a man who postponed responsibility for a decade. Time doesn't punish, it reveals. Absolutely. Absolutely. And me personally, man, I feel like I said, I turned 31 about 3 weeks ago. And I still feel like I look young, you know what I'm saying? And I think I had asked a client of mine a while ago, I'm like, hey man, how old do I really look? He was like, you look around like late 20s, like 27, 28. I'm like, oh, okay. Nice. But I think it just contributes. I think I can contribute that to just, man, my lifestyle, man. Even though there was a point in time where I was really stressed out, and there was a lot of things that I was dealing with at that time. Um, I still found time to exercise, eat right. Like these will always be my non-negotiables, no matter what's going on. You know, it's always going to be my non-negotiables. It's always going to be um, part of my lifestyle. So these are things that no matter what is happening, I can never ever give up. Doesn't matter what's happening. And I've been through the some crazy stuff, in the past, but I still kept that the focus of my life, which is why I never fell off too hard. Yeah, there were times where I fell off. There were times where I let myself go, um, to my standard, right? It may not be like someone else might think, oh, you look the same or whatever, but to my standards, I feel like I fell off. You know what I mean? And I think that's what made me just lock in even harder. Like you look at photos of yourself where you weren't in the best shape, where you feel like you weren't at your best, and you use that as motivation. You lock in, and you look back at those old photos, and it makes you want to stay locked in, so you don't revert back to that stage of your life. And that's why I always keep my non-negotiables. You know, doesn't matter what's going on. Doesn't matter what's going on in life. Doesn't matter what's happening in my life. I got to keep my non negotiables: eating right, working out, getting my rest. Those three things will never, ever change, no matter what's happening, you know, at least to the best of my ability, right? I know things happen, circumstances happen, but at least to the best of my ability, um, you know, I got to keep those things intact just for my own sanity, you know, because when those things are not in place, I notice that my mood, like something feels off, something feels off. I'm not in the right mind state. Um, I don't feel like myself. So I always got to make sure that I keep those things intact to the best of my ability. Even if I get 2 out of 3, you know, I can kind of just measure what is the most important in that stage, right? They're all three are important. Don't get me wrong, all three are important, but there's certain times where you might be only to be able to do 2 out of 3, but at least I get 2 out of 3. There might be times where you get 1 out of 3, but at least you're getting in one. So I try to keep that in mind. And I never want to get to a point where, you start to get older and, you don't look like yourself. Not to the point where you don't change, because as you get older, obviously you change, you look more mature, but you don't want to look like at 40, man, like, damn, what happened to you? Like, damn, what happened, man? You know, because it's gonna show everything that you did, in the past is gonna catch up to you. All the drinking, all the smoking, all the late nights, all that shit's gonna come back to you. So if you don't keep it under control now, it's gonna come back and show later down the line when it really matters. Especially as a man, like as a man, you only get better as you get older if you do the work. If you do the work, right? Because I know there's this thing where they always say, oh man, once you hit 30, life just gets better. Not if you don't do the work. You got to do the work, man. Life just doesn't switch. There's no switch that comes on, and once you hit 30, now life just becomes easy, or it's on easier mode. That's not how life works. If you have the same habits, if you got the same bad habits at 20, at 30, it doesn't matter. You're going to be in the same routine and the same trajectory of your life if you don't change your bad habits. So the work, like, no matter what you do, you're always going to have to do the work. The work will always remain undefeated. If you don't do the work, it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter, how much life you live. It's not going to change. The work has to get done. And that means internally, physically, mentally, financially, like all those things. If you're a man that wants to get better in life, like, you have to do the work. And everybody has a different definition of what the work is, but 9 times out of 10, it's kind of fundamentally the same for every man. Finances, physical, mentally. Very simple. All right, man. I think that's it for the Fit Report. Let's move on to the second segment, What the Fitness. Shout out to everybody in here. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and get my free 7-day fat loss guide. If you guys are looking to build muscle and lose fat, okay? If you guys are stuck, go ahead and hit that link in my bio, winnersdietclub.com. All right, let's move on to the next video here in What the Fitness. What do we got? All right, here we go. Let's refresh this real quick. Give me 1 second here. All right, this guy says the gym is a waste of time. Let's take a look.
All these gym people, bro, and they're just like fucking broke. If you just cut the gym out for like 6 months, you would make all that time back and you would make more money. For me, it's just weird. Like, I went to the gym once. It was Gold's Gym, $70 a month, whatever. And then I realized something. I'm like doing these weights and I'm just standing next to a bunch of sweaty men groaning and moaning. And I'm like, why am I here right now? You wake up at 6, you get the shaker bottle ready, you get in the car, you're there by 7. Let's be real. Most people in the morning, they're doom scrolling on their phone. They wake up. Okay, we get there. You're there for an hour. Go to the sauna. Okay, now it's what, 8:30? You're out of the sauna. You drive home 9 o'clock. Now you got to eat protein so the workout actually did well. Now it's around 9:45. I eat breakfast. 10. Shower. 10:20. I get out. I wasted 4 hours. If I'm going to choose a 4-hour morning gym session with the cold plunge and all this stupid that people do, I'll just switch it with sleeping for 2 extra hours and being on my A game. I see all.
Oh my goodness. I hate when people just like, they make things bigger than what it needs to be. Like, it really isn't that serious. It really isn't as complicated as this dude makes it out to be. But I want to break this video down again. So let's get back to it again. I want to break this down. Just everything he's saying.
All these gym people, bro, and they're just like fucking broke. If you just cut the gym out for like 6 months, you would make all that time back and you would make more money. For
how? Okay, you cut out the gym for 6 months. To do what? For what reason? Like, how is the gym holding you back financially? That's what people don't like. How is the gym holding you back from getting to where you need to be at? Like what about the gym is a distraction, as what he makes it seem to be? What about it is a distraction?
For me, it's just weird. Like, I went to the gym once. It was Gold's Gym, $70 a month, whatever. And then I realized something. I'm like doing these weights, and I'm just standing next to a bunch of sweaty men groaning and moaning. And I'm
Yeah, that's what happens when you're at a gym, sir. You know, people are going to be sweating. People are going to be groaning because, you know, they're lifting heavy and they're trying to get some gains. That's usually what happens when you're trying to get stronger and get and build muscle. You have to push yourself. And pushing yourselves requires you to, yes, create some moaning emotions or motions, right? Grunting. Yes, it happens.
like, why am I here right now? You wake
You're here because you're trying to get stronger or you're trying to get healthier. That's usually why most people go to work out.
up at 6, you get the shaker bottle ready, you get in the car, you're there by 7.
So it takes you an hour to get to the gym. Who goes to a gym an hour away?
Let's be real. Most people in the morning, they're doom scrolling on their phone. They wake up. Okay, we
That's true. That's true.
get there. You're there for an hour. Go to the sauna. Okay, now it's what, 8:30? You're out of the sauna. You drive home 9 o'clock. Now you got to eat protein. So the work
So it took you an hour to get to the gym, but it took you 30 minutes to get back. That makes a lot of sense.
out actually did well. Now it's around 9:45. I eat breakfast 10. Shower 10:20. I get out. I wasted 4 hours. If
Okay. So first of all, no one is really supposed to be at the gym for 2 hours. That's on you, right? There's no reason to be at a gym working out for 2 hours. Even if you're doing the sauna, cold plunge, even you don't need to do both of those in the same day, right? So this really makes zero sense. And if you're getting in a good workout, quality workout, and not bullshitting on your phone or talking to people, you can get out of there in about 45 minutes to an hour.
if I'm going to choose a 4-hour morning gym session with the cold plunge and all the stupid that people do, I'll just switch it with sleeping for 2 extra hours and being on my A game. I see.
Yeah, that's just dumb logic, man. And this is why you don't listen to people that are not in physical shape. Okay, he might have money, whatever. Who cares, man? Who cares if you got money, but you look like a fucking nerd? Like, nobody respects that. I'm sorry. And I always say this, bro. Like, you really have to, like, do not listen to people who don't take care of themselves physically. People that look at the gym like a chore or a burden or you know, something that they have to do. Like, these are people that I kind of just tune out because they use the money as, you know, a fallback. Oh, well, everybody in the gym is broke and I have money. Like, congratulations, you're still a nerd. You're still a pipsqueak. You're a geek. So, like, your word holds no value to me. I don't give a fuck how much money you have. You know, if you don't take care of yourself, I don't really care. You're just a skinny nerd with money. Like, who cares? Okay, cool. You got money. You can do this. You can do that. But then you look at the gym as a place that's a distraction. It's a waste of time. Like, bro, nobody's gonna take you serious. Seriously, nobody takes anybody serious that doesn't have, you know, a nice body. You know, if you look like you don't take care of yourself, you're skinny. You got a skinny ass bird chest. You know, or you're fat as hell, but you got money. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. So these guys, man, these finance guys or these tech bros or course bros that shit on the gym or shit on people that go to the gym because they can't look like them. That's just cope, man. That's insecurity. That's them wanting to get in better shape, but they can't because they don't know what the hell they're doing, and two, you know, it's too difficult to get in shape for them. It's too difficult to build muscle. So they got to shit on other people that have the body that they want. So this is just projection, man. It's cope. It's insecurity. And people like this, man, you can't, like I said, you can't take serious, man. You can't take them serious. So whenever I hear things like that, like, I just laugh at people, bro. Like, you just try to downplay the gym. Like, you just look like a nerd, man. You're a nerd. If you downplay the gym, you're a nerd. And I know you're built like a nerd. You know, so it just, it doesn't even matter at that point, you know? All right. Let's move on to the next video. Make sure y'all hit that like button. All right, we got another video here, man. Former athletes that kind of let themselves go. Let's take a look at what this guy has to say. Let me refresh the video.
Snow? Eric Snowden turned into Eric Avalanche. Now, I don't know what this man been through, but this is a lesson, man. You gotta stay active. So I'm pretty sure him and LeBron are close to the same age. You dig what I'm saying? And this man let it go. He let it all go. God bless. On some real shit, I wouldn't even have shown up looking like it, bro. Nah, fuck it. Don't honor me. I ain't honored my damn self. Eric Snow out there looking like Eric Blizzard. Eric Snow?
Eric Blizzard is crazy. Yeah, man. Look, man. There's a lot of former athletes out there, man, that you can tell, even while they're playing, that once they're done playing, they're gonna blow up like a blowfish. And you see, I'm not gonna name the players, right? I'm not gonna name the players. Okay, I'll name a few. Like Eric Snow, I didn't think would blow up that big. He didn't look like a guy that had that capability. But you look at guys like currently right now, like a Kyle Lowry. You look at guys like a Eric Gordon. Look at guys like a Zion, Luca, James Harden. Well, he's kind of already there now, right? Guys like this, man, they just look like Joker. Like once they're done playing, they're just gonna let themselves go. Because the one thing that's keeping them in shape is the structure. So once they're done playing, that structure is gone. So is their discipline. Because one thing about athletes that a lot of people have to realize, especially the ones that were just elite like their whole life, a lot of these guys are coddled. A lot of these guys are babied. Their hand has been held their whole lives, really, from elementary all the way up into adulthood. So people have always just like held their hand. They've always had people around them to kind of guide them and do things for them. So the moment that shit stops, man, because once you're done playing, all that shit's gonna go away. Like you're not gonna have the same team around you. You're not gonna have the same people in your ear. You're not gonna have Pat Riley in your ear talking about how you need to have a higher body fat percentage or a lower body fat percentage to keep playing, or you'll get fined. Like once these things and these systems are out of place, you're gonna realize a lot of them get lost. And a lot of them don't really know what to do next. This is why a lot of them they kind of just fall off physically. Look at Charles Barkley. Look at Shaq. Shaq was already kind of headed there even while he was playing, but it got even worse when he was done. You know what I'm saying? So just because he didn't have that structure already after he was done playing, it just got worse. Charles Barkley, same thing. So these things, man, as an athlete, like you still got to be disciplined even after you're done playing. Like you may not be in the same physical shape that you were in while you were playing, and that's not expected, but don't let yourself go to the point where it's like, damn, bro, you unrecognizable. Like Eric Snow looked crazy. Antoine Walker looked crazy. Like when you get to that level, that's when it's like, oh, okay, damn, bro. Like, sheesh. Like you can't do a couple push-ups. Like, damn. So, man, you really gotta yeah, man. Like I get it, man. When you've been coddled your whole life and then those training wheels get removed and now you're on your own, like you really kind of see who they say they are. Like you're really gonna see who the person really is after that's done. And a lot of guys kind of stick with it. A lot of guys, they just kind of fall off and they look crazy, and you see this even with the greats, right? A lot of even the greats kind of fall off a little bit, and that's expected. Like imagine being disciplined for your whole career, 20 plus years, 15 plus years, and now you want to enjoy life a little bit. Like Mike, right? MJ MJ, he fell off, you know what I'm saying? But MJ's in his 60s. He don't look crazy. He don't look like he's completely out of shape. He's out of shape, but he's not like completely out of shape. You know, he still works. I'm pretty sure he still does something, but you know, a lot of that is the cognac and the cigars. I think if he just took that out of his diet, he'd be okay. But you look at guys like Magic, you know, shout out to Byron Scott. Those guys are still in great shape. You can tell they still work out, they still exercise, eat healthy, you know, because that shit is important to them. But you know, even Kobe before he passed, RIP, you know, he kind of had that post career gut going on. And it's like, all right, cool. Like he's still enjoying life, but he wasn't looking crazy. He didn't he didn't like just fall off the wagon entirely, you know. So it happens, man. But this applies to everyday person, to everyday people as well. You know, we have training wheels. I talked about this last week. You know, high school is like the beginning stage. Everybody's on the same level physically. You know, we still have like PE. You might have had sports that you were playing, so it kept you in shape. You know, there was structure. As soon as you get to college, that's kind of when things fall off. That's when things get tricky. The freshman 15, you know, and if you don't have the same healthy habits that you did in high school, you know, it's downhill from there. You know, and really we weren't that healthy in high school. We still ate like shit in high school as kids. I'll be honest with you. We still ate bad in high school, still ate fast food, still ate hella candy, but we just had a lot of like our digestive system was just so quick. Our metabolism was just so fast. We just be able to just burn that shit off quick. And we had exercise. So it didn't affect us as much. But now you get to your 30s and 40s, bro. That's when things get dangerous. If you still got those same bad habits in your 30s and 40s, man, it's gonna be dangerous for you. Like you really gotta watch, man. You really gotta watch your diet and your lifestyle choices at that age. After 29 is kind of when you really gotta like do a self-evaluation and lock in because it can get tricky at that point, man. So um yeah, all you former athletes out there, me included, you know, thank God I never fell off that bad. But, you know, I can only imagine if I was coddled my whole career, how I would look after, you know, that's done with. Some guys can stick with it, some guys can't. So it is what it is. All right, man. I think we got one more to go. Let me see if we have one more video to go before we get to the main event. If not, we'll just go straight to the main event. Let's just go straight to the main event. Fuck it. We'll do a short one today. All right. All right, man. So we are at the main event of today. You guys, today we are talking about why Looksmaxxing creates fragile men. All right. And I've seen this term Looksmaxxing for a while now. And I understand it. I get it, man. Especially with young men, because as a young man, like in your early 20s, you really don't have a lot of bargaining chips, especially when it comes to women and getting women, right? Because one, you're not making that much money. Two, you're not really highly desirable. And three, you know, you just don't have much to offer anybody, really. So just the market in general, not just women, but you don't have much to offer the market in general. So a lot of guys need to rely on different things to be granted access to certain things, you know, because really, unless you're a professional athlete, an entertainer, you know, or a content creator, you really don't have much access to much. And that's where a lot of guys, young men, are falling short, you know, which is why they're trying to do this thing where it's like they're trying to look the best. And I get it. Look maxing is important. Standing out is important. Being the best version of yourself is important because it can open doors, and it can create conversations. it can give you some level of access, but not much. You know, it can open, like I said, it can open the door for you, but it doesn't keep you in the door. You know, you might be able to peek inside and see what's going on, but you're never gonna be fully in the door, if that makes sense. And I think that's where a lot of guys are going wrong with look maxing, you know. Um, and the problem with look maxing is you're creating your whole identity off of looking good. When in that stage of your life, it should be to start creating more value so that you can offer more to the market, you know. And I've seen this kid, you know, clavicular, whatever his fucking name is, the streamer kid who's talking about, you know, how he takes meth and steroids, and he be beating his face with the hammer to have higher cheekbones. That shit is crazy, man. Like, it gets to a point where it gets out of control. Like, you should never, like, your insecurity should never be that bad. I'm sorry, man. Your insecurity should never get to that level where you have to beat your face with a hammer just so you can look good to get girls. That is the craziest thing I've seen in my life. But this is where we are. You know, this is where we are. It is what it is. And this is a strategy for a lot of young men. And like I said, it's not a long-term strategy. Looksmaxxing. It's not a long-term strategy. It's a strategy kind of to get you attention, but it doesn't always earn respect, if that makes sense, because you can be a good-looking loser. There's a lot of those out there, right? There's a lot of guys that look good, but they ain't worth a damn. They ain't got shit to give anybody. They don't have any value to give to the world, you know? So it might give you attention, but it doesn't get you the respect that you want long term. And that's what they're not getting, you know. And really, man, the only looks maxing that you need is just a gym. That's it. The only looks maxing, excuse me, the only looks maxing that you need is the gym. Is you just working out consistently. You know, it's not you smashing your face with a damn hammer. It's not you taking drugs to get higher cheekbones and steroids to look like that. Shit is insane to me. That is crazy. All you got to do, man, is go to the gym, eat a high protein diet, get enough rest. The same qualities that I sit up here every week and spew to you guys is the same things that's going to help you become and look like the better version of yourself over time. The message has not changed. It will never change. You know, because you can't put all your confidence in the way you look. That's insane. You see women do that, right? Not all of them, but you see a lot of women do that. And you don't want to have the same strategy as women do because we're so different. That's just not our role. Like, really, men aren't meant to look good anyway. We're not really judged by our appearance. So I don't understand why we're putting such an emphasis in how we look from a physical standpoint. Yes, you want to be in shape, you want to be healthy, but not to the point where it's to the extreme. You know, those are extreme measures, what I just named earlier. The hammer, the drugs, those are extreme measures that I don't want any guy to be a part of. Because at that point, you're kind of you're finding ways to get around the work, which I said is the most important thing that you have to do. You can't escape the work, but you trying to looks max is you finding ways to get around doing the actual work of self-improvement. And you'll never become the best version of yourself if you try to skip the work. So there's a YouTuber, FitX Fearless. I look at a lot of his videos, and he did some looks maxing streams. He used to help guys with the way they look, and he stopped doing it, and This is the reason why he stopped doing the Looksmaxxing streams.
Looksmaxxing live streams.
Because I realized that most men do not want Looksmaxxing. They want a quick fix to hide their inadequacies in life. The men who really want to be exceptional, the men who are going to be successful, Looksmaxxing does not define that. That's just one part of your life. But I realized that that content was just attracting men who didn't really want to do much. They didn't want to improve their physique. They didn't want to make money. They didn't want to become better men. They just were looking for a easy out, a quick fix to make themselves look better, to get some kind of results. So yeah, I was probably one of the first people to help men with Looksmaxxing, but I realized it brought the worst kind of men. And I would rather help men who want to improve all areas of their life. Yes, you should improve your looks, but you should also improve your mindset, your income. You should also improve every single area of your life, your social skills. You have to have dedication to excellence in every area of your life, not just being obsessed with your looks as a man. Now, if you're a man that wants to improve all areas of your life.
All right, that's enough of that. We don't need a call to action. But yeah, man, looking good is just one area of your life. Like you want to improve all areas of your life. You want to improve every single area where you feel like you are deficient in. Your income, the way you look, your mindset. Like you want to improve all areas. The guys that want to look max or looks max, they just want an easy way out. They want a way to avoid doing the work. And like I always say, you can't avoid the work. If you want to become the best version of yourself, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to do the work. It's a non-negotiable. You trying to skip the work is the reason why you're trying to only looks max. That's the reason why a lot of guys just never end up becoming the person that they want to become, is because they're afraid of doing the work. They want the shortcuts. They want the easy way outs. They want the loopholes. Bro, there's no loopholes to becoming great. There's no loopholes and shortcuts to becoming the best version of yourself. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of you getting punched in the face. It's going to take a lot of you getting rejected. And it's going to take a lot of you being patient and understanding the process of what it takes to become that. So I want guys to just understand, man, the work will always be the work. The work will always need to be done. There's no escaping it. There's no hiding it behind Looksmaxxing. That shit will eventually run its course, and you're going to be left in the cold because everybody else is trying to improve all their areas in their life, and you're just trying to get the easy way out by looking good. And it doesn't work that way. You're not a woman. You're not a woman. Woman can get away with looking good. Woman can get away with marrying rich and marrying into wealth. You can't do that. You think you can have the same strategy as a woman when you're a man. That is the dumbest strategy you can do. That is the dumbest thing you can do. You're a man for a reason. Why are you trying to compete with women? Guys are just like, guys to me, man, are at least these new age men are insane to me. The mentality that these new age guys have, trying to compete with women, trying to do everything women do. Why? What are you afraid of? You afraid of competition with men? So now you have to revert back to being so now you have to revert back to women's strategies just to get ahead. I don't know, man. This is a weird generation of men. I don't know where we are in society right now. I don't know where we are in life right now, but we have a very weird new generation of men out here, man. And I don't cater to those type of men at all, and I'm not trying to sit here and pander because I'm far from that. I'm always going to be about becoming the best version of yourself, but you can't do that trying to be in competition with women and adopt women's strategies. You can't do that trying to adopt women's strategies. It's weird. It's weird. It's not masculine. You just look crazy. you know, and people don't take you serious, man. You're not in competition with nobody, but you trying to avoid the work makes you look like a weak man. It just is what it is. Call me a simp, call me a panderer, whatever the case is. I don't care. The truth is the truth, man. So we got to get out this mindset, man, where we're in competition with women and trying to do what women do because we can't get in the field and compete with other men. Like, that shit is corny to me. It's goofy. We got to do better on that stage, but it is what it is, man. That's been today's show. Shout out to everybody in here. We appreciate you guys for tapping in as well. We'll be back next week. You guys enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. Please follow us on all socials, Winners Diet Club, Project Mac on all socials. And we'll see you guys again next week. Peace.